Hello YouTube, Xisuma here with another episode of Xisuma's World. So in this episode I want to go over to Atlantis and do some more work on that site. And I've noticed a lot of people are anticipating the animal breeding machine now that I have mushrooms, and although that's not what I'm going to be doing just yet, we need something to breed the animals with, and that's wheat of course. So I want to build a wheat farm, and I also want to expand this place and make it look a lot more interesting. So my thoughts is to build some sort of a vertical wheat farm and build two towers on either side of Atlantis. So I've already been over here and brought over all my supplies and everything I need to build. So now what I'm going to do is take some time to think about how I'm going to do this and what needs to be done. So now that I've had time to look around and think, there's two things I've noticed straight away, and that is these edges here aren't finished. So I could either extend them all the way back over there where they'll be uneven on either side. What I was thinking would be better is to curve them around to a point, say, in line with this wall, which I think would look quite nice, and it could also be the base for these towers that I want to build at either side. Now the second problem is with this area of land here. So if we go down to the bottom here, this is where we're going to be building the animal breeding machines one day, and back there where all that land is where I'd want the breeding cells to extend backwards. So digging all of that out is going to be a huge job, and I'm not too keen on doing that at the moment. So what I was thinking is we could just dig out a segment and create tunnels for the breeding cells to go into. And then that way we can use the platform above for the wheat farm and other things that are going to go in this structure we're building. So now I think the best thing to do is start planning things out with some dirt blocks and figure out how I want to get things to look. I've been thinking about it for quite some time now, and I think I have a good idea of what I want to do. So these dirt blocks, they represent the curve, and it's the same as that corner and that one over there. So this is roughly where I want to build it, and then here I want to build a false roof and put sand back on it, so the back of Atlantis matches up with the desert biome, and I want to do the same thing on the other side. And I didn't want to come all the way back to this line because I felt like it was too close to the shore here, and so that will come up to about here, and then it will have plenty of water behind it to look good. So I've been trying to figure out how to build these towers up from the walls that we're going to build at the back here, and I'm really having no luck, so I figured the best thing to do is actually just get on and build those walls, and then I can look when it's finished and I'll probably have a better idea of how to put these towers in. So I was busy building, and then I noticed it. My pigs have disappeared. And yeah, that's got me absolutely baffled. Why just the pigs? Kind of worrying really. Now I've finished both these sides and I've been looking at them for some time, and I really like how they look. I like the slope, and they just don't look right for the foundations of a tower, and I think this is because of the half slabs, and the glass kind of makes it look quite fragile. So nothing's really been working for me at the moment, so I decided I'd move on to something else, and I think the middle would be a good place to start. Once we've got something here in the middle, perhaps the rest will fall into place. So what I'm going to need is an entrance to this place, and with it being surrounded by water, it makes sense that it should be a boat dock. So I'm going to build one in the centre here, and the way I want to do this is you'll make your way in, and then you'll drop down onto a platform below, and then that same platform can launch you into a boat elevator, and then that's going to bring you all the way up and over and spit you back out onto the water here, and then you can sail off. So I haven't actually built a boat elevator before, but I've seen many other people do it, so I'm going to be basing my ideas on what I've seen. I'm making good progress on the boat dock, so I figured I would give you an update on what I've been doing. So I've tried many different things around here, and this is what works best for me. So we have 3 water source blocks here and 3 half slabs, and when I'm in a boat approaching at full speed, we clip the half slab and fall into the middle of this pool here. So this pool is 5 by 4, and on the side here we have half slabs, and that's to stop the boat from going into this part of the water, because we want it to stay in this free wide bit here. So the floor is actually got sticky pistons under it, and when we power the pistons they're going to rise up and there's going to be no water on here. And then when that happens we're going to let water flood from this side using some pistons to stop it at first, and then the water's going to flood out and push the boat into this area here where we're going to have the water elevator, and that's going to be free wide, and then it's going to carry the boat out and push it back over the top. Well, it's taken me a really long time and I've raised this all up 2 blocks and now I have it working. Except at this point I've realised that my design is flawed because it uses more pistons and wiring than it really needs to. And one of my worries and the reasons why I lifted it up 2 blocks was because the redstone wire was going down quite low, and I know we need to leave space for the animal breeding machine to go under here. So now I realise what I should have done is had the water start 1 block over here, and then the pistons would push up here and block that water coming through, and then these ones here could retract and the water behind it could then flow out, rather than having this whole moving floor. So I thought I'd show you that anyway, and yeah, now I'm going to have to tear it all down and build it the other way. So I've made the changes that have been needed, and there we go, you can see it works. But now I realise I also got to put pistons here so the water can extend over to where the water elevator is, and I hadn't anticipated that before, and I'm not quite sure why, because it should have been obvious. But I had a look back at the footage and yeah, it's funny, sometimes you just overlook simple things like that. So yeah, anyway, we're going to put the pistons here at the front, hook it all up to the circuit, and then we'll start building the water elevator the other side. So based on what I've seen other people do, I think this is the way it works. You have alternating source blocks, and then when you go into them you automatically rise through. But I just tested this and it didn't actually work, but while I was testing it I noticed something. It's not in line. Silly mistake to make, but there you go. I'm going to have to tear the entire thing down and build it again. Okay, it's taken me a really long time to rebuild this, and now that I've built it in the right place I've also extended this out by about 2 blocks just so the back of it wasn't so close. I didn't want any sort of overhang, and yeah, so I've tested it a few times and I've used this lever up here, and when you land into the pool that's fine, but when we do this bit there's a bit of a problem. This doesn't actually work. So what happens is the boat kind of drags in and it gets sucked into the ground and the boat breaks, and then you get stuck in one of these 3 blocks. So I'm going to have to do some research and figure out how to do this. It turns out that to build a boat elevator you need lots of water source blocks, so I've gone and put them in there, and I've tested this and it does work. And I'm not sure if we actually need these signs here, but it still works like that, so I'm going to keep them there for now. And we now have a new problem. Where I've put in these pressure plates, we now, when we fall down, we land in these 2 blocks here and we clip the edge and get pushed through into the water elevator. So I need to find a solution for that, and I do have an idea. I was thinking of putting in fence gates, and they'd be closed when the water's like this, and then when the water changes and it comes from the back they'll open and the water will push you through the fence gates into the water elevator, and I think then we'd have a working system. So I've put in the fence gates and it works just how I hoped it would, and the wiring was really simple as well. I just put in some redstone torches and some repeaters going into the blocks they're on. Okay, now it's time to test this. And that would be the first time I've taken full damage there. Interesting. However, thinking about it, there's no real need for those half slabs. Okay, so that should eliminate any full damage, and now if we get in the boat and hit the lever. Oh. Okay, that's interesting. So I'd call that a design flaw, but yeah, I might have to revert to using the pistons here then. Okay, very strange. Come on. Okay. Oh, this is just too much. And that's why we needed the half slabs there. Okay, I have a theory that I took full damage with the half slabs last time because I wasn't going fast enough, so we're going to try it again. Okay, and my second theory was that as soon as we hit the edge here, the boat's going to start moving around. So if we hit the lever first, you can see that it does work. But obviously it's not working 100%, so I'm going to have to keep thinking about this and figure out how to fix it. So I think I have a solution for both of our problems. What I'm thinking of doing is removing these half slabs here, putting some blocks underneath with pressure plates on them. Then when the boat passes over, it should activate the pressure plates. So that way we can create a redstone signal. And what I'm thinking is that by default we have no water here. Then the redstone signal from the pressure plates can activate these pistons, and then there will be water in this area here when the boat lands on it. And then a few seconds later the water will disappear and the boat will stay still on the sandstone. Then when we activate the lever, the boat will go through and rise up. Okay, time for a test. And there we go. Now we can get out the boat. And then when we want to come back, okay, obviously I'm going to test that a few more times, but that seems to work. And one thing I just realised is that I need to change this lever into a button, and probably going to have a pulse lengthener on that, because we want this to reset after, so that when the next boat comes down, it won't land in the water like this. Okay, it's time for another test. And now I've added a button in as well. And there we go. So now that this is complete, I want to rebuild it and get it looking nice aesthetically. I just built it out of sandstone because that's what I had on me, and I'm going to use sandstone again. What I'll probably do is use these half slabs, and then this way we'll have the half slab and water look around our water elevator as well. So the aesthetics are coming along quite nicely, and I've had to change a few things. First of all, this row of water here I had to put in, and I've moved back the previous row with the pressure plates just up there. And now when you come in on the boat, you generally always seem to land directly in the middle instead of in the corner over here. And as well as that, I've exposed this water, and I might put some glowstone underneath to give it some light. And I've also had to change a few things here, including putting this button in the middle. So I've got some signs there to hold up the water, and as you can see I've run some redstone wire across it. So at this point I'm really liking how it looks, but I didn't want to use wood and sandstone because it's used so often. It does look really good, but I wanted to try something different. So my plans for both these sides is to have the steps lead up here and then up to the water, and then this way it would lead up to the desert biome up there. So I'm going to build it on one side with wood and then build it again the same on the other side with stone bricks and see how they compare. So as you can see I've added stone bricks and I think it looks equally as good. I really can't make up my mind which one to go with, but since this is going to be symmetrical I'll just continue building wood on one side and stone on the other. So these steps, they go up to here, and kind of feels like I need a little something extra here, maybe some half slabs, wooden half slabs, something to make it feel like a docking area. And around this side I've done even more. We've got the same thing there again, and up here this will take us to the desert. And what I've done here is I've made a wooden roof and then put sand down over the top of it. So this will be the entrance from the desert, and I plan on putting some half slabs here, and that has water behind it, and then some sort of arc or roof. And yeah, it's slowly coming together. and I still can't make up my mind, but I think either way it looks pretty good. And as well as that, I just forgot, down here I've made a sort of ledge the whole way across. We'll go down the bottom and have a look for there, but basically it's sandstone, stone slabs, and here I've added in some windows, and on both sides we've got torches on these blocks. So yeah, I think it looks really nice from down below. And yeah, it's really starting to come together now. So I've added some steps at either side, and they'll lead off to the rooms that are going to be on either side of here. I'm still thinking about building some towers that go quite high, but at the moment I'm just focusing on this middle bit. So as well as those steps, I've added this sort of roof over the steps, and it looks okay, but I'm not too happy with it just yet. And the main problem I'm having is that this bit in the middle here hasn't really got much shape to it yet and doesn't have the roof on it itself, so I'm struggling with that, and I'm probably going to go up there next and start work on that bit. But as well as that, I've also... why is that activated? Is there a squid on the pressure plate? Ah, okay, I found a problem with that method. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay, anyway. With that aside, I've been trying to move the button here. It was up there and the redstone looked ugly. Coming around the side here, you can power redstone for a half slab, so that's how I got away with that bit. But this shape here just doesn't look right, and I wanted to change it. So I put a sign there, and that way we could have a button in the middle. So the main problem with this is that the boat has to be quite close to here for you to hit the button, and usually it lands in the middle here. And as well as that, having the signs and the button actually disable the boat elevator, so I'm going to have to find another place to put the button. So I've added a roof, and I also forgot to mention that I've put glowstone there and over here as well, just to bring some light to this area. So the roof's quite simple. I've put water on it as well to give this nice blue feeling, which goes with the rest of Atlantis as well. And it's all flat at the moment. I've used stone slabs to hold in the water, which looks quite nice from up here. And yeah, it's very simple. There's one problem with it. This bit here, I feel like it perhaps should be raised up a little. And the reason why is because of this too high roof bit here, and I've never been a fan of too high roof. It's not really that aesthetically pleasing, so I'm thinking from here to here I might raise it up with a slight slope like this, and then we'd have a free high gap here. So I've updated the roof again, and I'm much happier with it now. With it raising up like this, it feels a lot more open, and I'm generally quite happy with the whole roof. It does look a bit odd from this side, because what I've done was, as you can see, I've placed water down, and because water flows to the lowest point, I can place it here without anything to stop it from flowing this way, but it will only flow down to here, so it looks a bit strange. And I imagine when I go out there, or I'm making my way here on the boat, it might look a bit odd, so I might have to change it then. But I could just put a couple of I think these are half slabs. No, they're not. I could put a few half slabs here then, and it would probably look a little bit better. So with most of this feeling done, I was looking around for what I had left to do, and I remembered that I still got to finish off the button and sort out the wire at the top there. So I've been looking at different ways that I could do this, and then a thought popped into my head that I could possibly move these fence gates back one and have them there, and it might still work the same way. At which point I could put a button on the side here, however when the water flows over it would pop off. So what I was thinking then is that I could actually raise our fence posts with the stone slabs on top. I could raise that all up one and have the button at the next height. So I'm going to try that and see how it goes. So as I was removing this, I realised that there was no need to move this back at all, because it had to be one up. So this block here could have had the button on the side, but then there'd be nowhere for the redstone to power it to. So after thinking about it for a bit, I realised if we power this block on either side, then we can run a redstone wire from it without it being seen anywhere else. And then this kind of makes this look odd, and it's got no platform to go on if we were to raise it up one. And that was a bit of a shame because all of this was in line and it looked quite nice. And when I was going to raise this one up, I was going to raise it up one on the other sides as well, and it would look good if this was raised one as well. I think it looks a bit odd like that. And then I could do the same thing on this corner as well, and the one over there. So I'm a little bit disappointed by that, but now these buttons are going to be in the right place and they should be reachable when you're in the boat. Okay, I think I've finished working on here for today, and I've got both of these buttons working now. And it looks really good now as well with the water coming straight down like that. We've got the half slabs above, and I've gone for the glass on either side as well. And it doesn't look too great from the front, but when you come from the side here it looks really nice because it has the same slope as the stairs. So as well as that, I've all raised all of these up one block, and these two in the middle don't look so good raised up one, but these ones at the edges definitely do. So as one last change I might move these down. But that's pretty much it for this place. So before this episode ends, I have a couple of things to talk about, but one of them I have for you is a tip, and this was given to me by Lucas Nietzsche, and it's really great. If you have a bowl in your inventory, you can walk up to a mushroom and get a new bowl, and that doesn't seem to run out. I've done some tests, you can use as many bowls as you like. So as Lucas Nietzsche suggested, it's a good idea to actually capture some mushrooms and set up little refill stations around your base. So I was thinking of building a little containment chamber with a dispenser on top that would give you a bowl when you walked up to it, and then you could get yourself a mushroom stew. So here's my little refill stand, and it doesn't look very nice. After I built this I realised that when I have an actual place to put them in my base, I'm going to build them with lots of glass and some water coming down as well, and some glowstone to sort of light up the mushroom and make it a bit more of a shrine, because at the moment we can't see his face. But anyway, this is how I see it working. We have one bowl in the dispenser, you walk up to it and it goes into the slot in your hotbar. And then you would hold down right click, and each time it filled up you would then automatically eat it until your health was full, and then you could just put the bowl back in the dispenser and walk away. And yeah, I had fun getting this guy down here. The first one that I brought, when I came to this bit over here, a creeper came along and blew it up, which is unfortunate, but that's Minecraft for you. So that's all we have time for this episode, and before I go I just want to ask you what you think looks better. My favourite is the stone bricks, and that's probably what I'm going to go with, but I'd still like to hear what you think. The wood's been, done so many times before. It looks good, wood and sandstone, but I'd like to try something different. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.